Welcome in to another episode of the Young Entrepreneurs Network podcast. We're on episode, I think, 28 since we went in person, which is fucking mental. And today's guest, I am absolutely fucking buzzing for this one, Matthew Deighan.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I just want to say thanks for having me on. Hopefully I can provide some value that's a little bit different to the other guys that you've had on the podcast. So
100%.
Excited for it.
I have no doubt that you're going to provide an immense amount of value. And from working with Matthew as a client, Matthew is bubbly, salesy, amazing people skills. So I know for a fact that if anything, you're going to walk away with value and also feeling pretty fucking good about business and hopefully have a smile on your face as well, man. So yeah, Matthew, we'll start with your, I guess the start of your journey, because obviously there's a couple of things that we want to unpack. You're quite early on, actually, within your business journey as well, but growing pretty fucking rapidly, which I've watched, over the last few months, and it's been fantastic, mate. So do you want to get us started around, when you started, why you started the business, why you went down this current business model? Yeah.
So just in terms of like how long we've been running for, this is month 12 now of the business that I've currently got. Just to dial it back in terms of how we got started and how we started running. I mean, I followed the same as everyone else in terms of direction. It was finish school, do all right, get into uni, pick a degree, go to uni, and then go and get a job. And to be honest, I didn't really know there was any other direction. And at the time, I mean, I was 18. I wasn't thinking of any other direction. I wanted to go to uni to go out, right? I wasn't really thinking about my future. And that's what I did. So got decent results, went into a degree in business management. I knew I wanted to do something in business. I wasn't 100% sure of what, but that's the direction that everyone goes, right? So went there first year and did exactly what I set out to do. 18-year-olds, you're not really thinking about much else, especially in my eyes. So I went out and I had a good time, met a good group of guys, and we just went out and got drunk most weeks. Now, it was in the second year of university where it kind of wears off. The novelty of going out multiple times a week isn't as fun anymore. And it was definitely in that second semester of the second year that I kind of looked at myself and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Mental was not in a great place, nothing terrible. I just felt like shit. Physical wasn't in a good place, was eating like shit. And I was going out and just not really feeling the excitement. It didn't really have, as I said before, the novelty of it. Just wasn't the same. And at that point, I kind of mapped out what the next 3 years of my life would have looked like if I continued doing what I was doing. And what it looked like is, well, you're going to do the next year the exact same, third year is going to be the exact same, and fourth year is. But at the end of it, I'm going to have a degree. But what does that degree actually do for me? Well, in my degree personally, which was business management, it doesn't do what I want to do with it. Because I always wanted to work for myself. I never wanted to work for anyone else. And it was at that point that I decided that there's got to be something else. There's got to be a different direction that I can take, which means that, one, I don't have to feel like shit, and actually do something which has purpose and is going to take me in a direction that I really want to go.
And you said you always wanted to work for yourself. Like, where did that motivation come from?
Growing up, I had quite a few jobs. So I worked in a hotel. I did housekeeping. So I was the guy on the door. Housekeeping. That was a traumatic experience. But no, I've had quite a lot of jobs growing up. And I felt, just in general, even subjects in school and even university, if I'm not doing something that I enjoy and I can genuinely see the reason that I'm doing it, I don't enjoy it. It's not fun. It doesn't fulfill me. And it was just from my experience of working for other people that I realized that it's not something that fulfills me. It doesn't fulfill my purpose. I want to do something which I enjoyed.
And I guess like from the hospitality side of things, I can now see how you developed like the people skills side of things as well. I'd imagine what were the things that you learned from there?
Just from the jobs. Yeah, I mean, people skills is important because if you can chat well, you get good tips. And it's funny because my employer, when I took a gap year, which we'll get to in a second, my employer always said, like, when things were very busy and kind of hectic, that's when I'd do well. But when things were slow, I'd just slack off. I wouldn't care. And I think that just coincides with everything. But in terms of the people skills, we've moved about. So I haven't lived in Glasgow my whole life. Like we've lived in a few different countries. So I think talking has always come naturally for me. I feel like connecting with people and sort of understanding them is natural, and I think that goes so perfectly into business. It really impacts the way that I operate and talk with people. Which again,
you said other countries, like where else besides Scotland?
So born in Manchester. When I was 4, we moved to Russia, Moscow. So that was a bit mad, and it's funny because I used to be able to speak Russian. Don't ask me to, I can't anymore. But when we were in Russia, I was like 6, right? And when my grandparents used to come over, we used to have to go to the shops when my parents were at work. And I used to have to speak to the cashier lady and run them through like what they wanted and everything with my grandparents. And they're like holding my hand and I'm like up here. And then after that, we moved to Leeds. So I had a very northern accent before I came here, before it got bullied out of me. And then I've lived in Glasgow for 10 years now.
Wow.
So moved around quite a lot, which I'm glad we have.
100%. What about, like, what was Russia like? That's the most like...
mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental.
I went to an international school.
Okay.
So there was a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and parents did very different things. So there was like American guys and people from Japan and Russia as well, and everyone just kind of had this weird like upbringing and everything. But again, we were so young that it was all about just like fun, right? You're not really thinking about, oh, so what do your parents do? Because I didn't really care, to be honest. But no, it was a great place to live, and I think it's a bit different. Like it's a different path that a lot of people have taken growing up. It's not the same house. So I'm quite grateful that we've been able to move around quite a lot.
I can see where you developed people skills, mate, for sure. In terms of what I wrote down is like, what was the catalyst of the actual turning point, which you've kind of briefly covered when it came through coming through uni. But I guess like a lot of people have that epiphany moment where they're like, this is fucking shit, this isn't what I want to do. But like, how do you actually start to pave a way out of it?
I think for me it was more thinking about what would happen if I continued, right? Because it's probably easier to stay and continue. But then I was like, right, but if I gave it a go and it worked, I'd be in such a better place. Now, in that, I could give it a chance and it not fuck everything up, because I can take a gap year. So I can give myself a year, prove to myself I can do it, give it a proper go. And if it doesn't work, I go back. So that was a massive thing for me. And I remember the first conversation I had with my parents when I said, listen, I'm taking a gap year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a go. They were like, what? And they're relatively relaxed parents as well. They're not strict in any way, shape or form. But I think in the summer before I did it, they saw the work I was putting in and they were like, you know what, fair fucks. And if it doesn't work, you're going back to uni. So it was more of I'm reluctant to say ego thing, but it was more of proving to myself that I could do it. And if I didn't do it, I'd go back to uni. Now, in my mind, I didn't want to go back because I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I'd have things in place to try and force myself to make it work and make it happen. Which is what happened, luckily.
I think proving to yourself that you could do it, do you recall what that actually looked like? Like what did proving to yourself you could do it mean?
I love the idea of taking something from nothing and putting it and building it, right? And making it your own, being like, look at what I've done. In the beginning, it's so difficult because you've got all the, and I genuinely don't know how I got through it, to be honest with you. And I feel bad for anyone that's there now because there's so many options and everyone's telling you one thing and the gurus are telling you this, the gurus are telling you that. And the issue that you have at that stage is you don't know which direction to take. And what a lot of people do when they get in that situation is they don't do anything. Now that's the worst thing you can do. So essentially the approach that I took is I have 1 year. I do not have unlimited time. This has to happen and I have to do it. So the first thing I did is chose something that I thought I would like. But the second thing I did is choose something that was proven. And what that did for me is that gave me confidence that it does work. And if it wasn't working for me, it's because I don't know how to do it, right? I don't know what I don't know. So if I keep going and keep playing the game, I will eventually unlock how to do it.
Yes.
Right?
I guess like from an aspect of because what I noticed, I think we've had a couple of conversations about it, about like waking up early, for example.
Yes.
What kind of, because having a scarce time frame of like a year, you pretty much have to eradicate all the shit that's holding you back pretty quickly, which are usually just like bad habits of some sort. Can you recall what kind of bad habits you removed and how you actually removed them?
So just to give some context, I was going from lazy, eat like shit, goes out all the time, very social, to strict, disciplined, focused on one thing, no booze, no alcohol. So there was a polar opposites.
Yeah.
So I knew for a fact it wasn't going to be a smooth transition by any means, shape or form. So for me, I was thinking of ways to speed up that process of transition because I knew it was going to take really long.
Yeah.
Now I had this burning desire, which was pulling me towards the goal, right? And this is how I picture it in my brain, which is why I'm giving you the analogy. So I had one thing that was pulling me towards the goal, which was my drive to actually make it work. It had to happen.
Yep.
And then I thought, right, I need something to push me as well.
Yep.
So what I used to visualize in my head, and a lot of people talk about manifestation and affirmations. And at this stage, I had no idea what it was, right? But I remember when I was lazy, I used to think about this. And there's two things here. The first is thinking about going back and the conversations that I have with these people. So just before I get onto that, I told everyone that I was starting a business, right? I told my grandparents, everyone that I knew at uni, all my friends. And it wasn't a thing to gloat. It was an accountability thing. So I did it on purpose. I told everyone. Because then if I would go on a night out, they'd be like, how's the business doing? And in those first 3 months when work wasn't very good, I'd have to sit there and go, it's going really well. And I knew for a fact it wasn't going well. But what that gives me is massive accountability. That's one thing that I did. The other thing that I did was I visualized going back and everyone was dead supportive, which I'm really grateful for. But it was the conversations that I have to have if it didn't work. And they wouldn't be negative. It wouldn't be, Matthew, I knew you couldn't do it. It would be, Matthew, at least you gave it a go. Yeah. At least you tried your best. That soul crushing. I couldn't let that happen. That would have crushed me. Would have killed me.
Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, that's a good question. I think for me, I've always wanted to do something a little bit different. And I think proving to myself that I could is a massive, it's of massive importance to me to be able to do something a little bit different. It's not better in any way. It's just what's different. And I think the ability to take a leap of faith like that, which in my eyes was massive. It's actually really small in the grand scheme of things, but at the time it was huge. It was
like it happened for everything else to blossom in it.
Exactly. And at the time, like this was like, oh my god. But it was more of a case of proving to myself that I could do it, and then proving to everyone that I've said that I can do it, that I can do it, which is massive accountability.
100%, mate. I think when it comes to, it reminded me of, there used to be a podcast that I used to listen to all the time with Naval and Joe Rogan. Like one of the OG podcasts, mate. I reckon I used to listen to it on my walks, like just on repeat, just same pod. Every time I'd listen to it, I'd learn something else. And one of the things, I believe it's from that podcast, he speaks about like the power of social commitment. So like actually saying to everyone that you're going to do something and what weight that will actually hold, especially if you're someone that's actually like driven, that wants to achieve, like wants to be seen as a high achiever, and then actually having to go back and be like, this shit never worked out. And I think he said it from an aspect of like when individuals, I could be butchering this because this was a good couple of years ago listening to this, but there was a part in that pod that I believe he spoke about, people will often say, I'm going to do something, but they never do it. Whereas if you want proper social commitment, saying I'm going to do something by said date, then when that date rolls round and people are like, you're still here, you're still not doing anything, what's going on? That will be fucking, I can even feel it in my stomach just now, the thought process of saying I'm going to do something, then not fulfilling it. How much it would eat you up and actually force you to take action. Do you feel like that was what was happening for yourself in terms of massive action?
It was having to, especially in those first few months, because I'm still making that transition to becoming like the guy that I need to be to run a company. And that accountability was probably the most powerful accountability that there is in the beginning.
What does the guy look like that you want to be?
I want to be confident. I want to be sure of myself, and I want to be successful. So I want to be able to look back. I want to be able to look back in a few years and think, holy shit, I did it.
Yeah.
How did that even happen? And the way that we've been applying it to the company now is when I did make it happen in terms of not having to go back, I was like, shit, like what now? Like I've done it. And it was, I know it's nothing now, but at the time it was massive, right? Me not going back was a huge thing for me at the time. So when I achieved it and I got to a place where it was like, shit, like, all right, nice, done it. The complacency kicks in. And when the complacency kicks in, you know yourself in business. There's no, you don't stand still. You move forward or you move back. Yeah. I started slipping and then falling back into what I used to do. So something that I've done to combat that is set a goal which is so high that it's actually very difficult, if not maybe impossible to achieve. And that should keep me right instead to keep pushing and keep the pace that we're on. I
think shoot for the moon, you'll land on the stars, right? I think we've spoken about it a good couple of times. The like navigating of complacency, I think you're absolutely right in regards to if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And I think what the determining factor in the middle is the like as time passes, there is an element of I'm trying the best way to explain this, but as time's passing, if you're not doing anything and time is just passing, it is on like on a decline of some sort because you're not moving forward. And the one thing that is your scarcest commodity, which your time is just passing by. You're kind of in this middle ground where it's like, what the fuck? And from a service basis as well, like if I'm looking at like Young and Lazy and how like we have scaled, there has been multiple times through just pure time alone that things have plateaued. Like the focus groups at the beginning, they plateaued after a few months. If I hadn't moved forward at all, like during anywhere near like that same time frame within those few months, I wouldn't have then seen how to evolve them into something that people actually really enjoyed and wanted to attend. And it's like if I was just standing still, not doing anything, just showing up and just doing the same shit, I wouldn't have seen that coming, and it would have been too late to fix up the things that actually need to be improved. So if you're not moving forward and you're somewhat standing still, you're really not standing still, you're moving backwards at a pretty alarming rate. From an aspect of one of the things I think is interesting that you said was about like time itself. You're now 12 months in. Once you make that commitment, complacency kicks in, and then it's almost like you blink and it's like you're now 12 months in, fully immersed in it. I think how you navigate complacency is what has got you to where you're at just now, which is, do you want to talk about where you're at just now from a business perspective?
We're at the start of the year, we had nothing. Just give context. So I had 0 clients, zero money a month. I was working a restaurant job 3 days a week, and I was putting in the time. And I was getting nothing back. And I came to the conclusion that that's just get used to it. This is what happens, right? Now, 12 months later, at a time we've got 20 clients, some of the biggest companies in the UK. We're servicing them pretty darn well, if I do say so myself. And the goal that we set for ourselves as a company is to be the number one home improvement marketing agency in the UK, which is a goal that I don't even know if it's even tangible to be able to define what that is. But it's a goal that it changes the way we make decisions in our company, and it changes the speed at which we go out as well.
And I guess like from an aspect of like seeing you as my as a client and how you like have developed yourself, one of the things that I've picked up on as well is that you have such an open mind to feedback, to wanting to move forward. Where do you feel like you developed that?
I don't know if it was developed. I genuinely think it's just something that I have. Because if I ask for feedback, I'd like, if I send you a video, I want you to rip it apart. I want you to tell me this is bad and this is why it's bad. And I don't feel any animosity towards it. And I didn't realize that a lot of people did. When they're looking for feedback and you tell them exactly what feedback you should tell them, you be direct with them. And they're like, what the fuck? You just asked me for feedback. And I think if you want to improve and you're speaking with someone and asking for advice, I want to know everything I can improve on, and then I want to implement it right away.
Yep.
I think something which I apply to business consistently is speed and intention.
Yeah.
So just keep it moving quick, and then only do the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
So if I need feedback from you, I want direct feedback, and I want to know exactly what needs to be improved and apply it straight away.
You're definitely in the right place for that. I think that's why Matthew sent me a video last night that was very interesting, almost like a little mini recap of his discovery calls from an aspect of recording them. And it was like 9 o'clock last night. I just stuck it on when I was finishing up my last task, and I ended up very, very actually, what's the word? Like
engaged.
Engrossed. Yeah, engrossed in what it was that you were doing. Because I think you know me well enough now, like I'm always going to be, because for me, honesty ranks above likability.
Yeah.
So I would rather I am honest, because as well, I think I've picked up as well, like Alex Becker, Hormozy, I think it was Jeff Bezos' episode with Lex Friedman, he spoke a lot about it as well, which is that the goal isn't for anyone to be right, the goal is to be as close to the truth as humanly possible. And the truth is the thing that for a lot of companies they aren't willing to tackle head on, and they almost play it off like the truth isn't really real. So if they're providing a shit service, they don't believe they are.
Yeah.
And for me, getting as close to the truth as humanly possible based off giving my perspective, giving my honest feedback, expecting engagement back and forth to get close to the truth. I don't want to be right.
Yeah.
But I want to have a positive impact. And if years to come, you come to me and you're like, John, I'm so fucking grateful for all the shit conversations that we had as a result of me getting to where I am today, and I realised it was part of it. I would much rather that than you liking me just now, for example. Which is, you're like from like your mindset of being like wanting it. It's very true, mate, that not many people actually want the cold hard truth. Like not many people can hack it. Yeah, to be honest,
it's necessary. It's the same approach we take with our clients. It's funny, I get on a lot of calls with these guys, right? Our industry is saturated. There's so many people doing it because it's sold as a very quick way to make money, and there's a lot of copy and paste out there and a lot of people just trying to make money. Now, I take the same thinking that I have with feedback into the way that I sell and the way that I promote Social Hotspot as a company. And how we do that is it's pure directness, pure honesty, and no bullshit. Now, I'm dealing with usually men that are 40 plus. They've been working in the industry over 20 years. They don't want to hear another 20-year-old chatting absolute shit, trying to sell them something which is complete bullshit, right? That's not what they want. So what we do is take a different approach. I'm not going to phone them up and say, we have something magic. We have something that you've never seen before. It's the best ever. It's going to cost you $2,000. No. What we do is we say, we don't have something magic, but we have something proven. And I'm completely direct with them in how it is going to work. And what I'm trying to do is not sell them it. I'm trying to work out if they have the problem that we will be able to provide the solution for. And what that does is it's more of a mutual movement to our solution than me trying to sell them. And they say that on the call, and it used to baffle me when I started because I've always had the same thinking and the same way of approaching it. And they always say on the call, the first question I always ask is, so John, like, what made you reply back? I mean, I know you get messaged all the time. What was it about my email, my ad that you liked? And they go like, Matthew, it was just a little bit different. You just seem like you just seem like a little bit more direct. They don't use the word direct. They say like authentic or something. And what I've realized is that the thinking of what we're providing is just different because what the majority of the market are doing, which is what they've been taught to do, is make 10K a month. And what we're doing is operating it like a real company and selling a service which is actually good and which will actually help their company. And we feel that on calls that we're with clients. And
that really is like I feel like that's in gaming terms, that's the skill gap between majority of companies where the gap in skill comes with the mindset towards the services that you provide. I think if you have what I've circled here is pure intentions, like you don't want to sell to someone something that is going to pocket quick few grand retainer and then be seen and gone. And I think majority of people in your space, when I think about a true skill gap that is you're here and they're there, it comes with the fact that like your goal isn't to make 10k a month.
Yeah.
Your goal is something far beyond that. And
Yeah.
the thing far beyond that wouldn't actually be possible without providing a really good fucking service with a good lifetime value and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
How have you developed your good service?
Fuck around and find out. No, it's from, I mean, the first 5 months of this year was working for free.
Yeah.
So the way I never wanted to be a burn and churn agency. And what I mean by that is I never wanted to provide a service which I knew was very bad, that would waste their money and just get me paid. Because what I wanted to do, what I set out to do, is build a company which has genuine, tangible utility in the market. And the only way to do that is to get a good service. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So what I did is I went to companies and I said, I've never done this before, and I want to work for free. If I do well, I'd like a testimonial in return, a case study, whatever. And what that does is it justifies what I do, right? Yeah. It solidifies in my mind and a new potential client's mind that I have done this in the past and I've got this result. Yeah. And it's the same game. Like, it's ridiculous. The past 2 or 3 months, we've actually realized how much of a game this is.
Yeah.
We sign clients, we get case studies and testimonials, which equals proof. The proof means that we have more weight to our words, which means we sign more. And it's this just constant incremental increase in the case studies, the clients, and then you slowly build that up.
Yeah. In terms of solidifying in your own mind, that obviously you said it like from an aspect of what it does for the company, it starts to compound and you generate more conviction. Is there anything else that does for you?
I mean, in terms of, I mean, you can hear it on the phone now. I send all my discovery and sales calls to my business partner, and he always watches them. And he's been saying recently the conviction in the way that I speak is just so polar opposite to what it was before. Because at the start, you're still trying to figure out what you actually provide and figure out more about your service. Yeah. Now, I have so much confidence and conviction in what we do that objections aren't even objections. They're just like queries that people have. They're things that people genuinely want to know that I'm happy to provide the solution for. Because I know now that the service we're providing is a genuine, very, very good service. It's not fluff. It's not bullshit. It's not something which I'm just doing just to make some quick money. Yeah.
Why did you said that's something that you've always done, sending the recordings to your business partner? Like, why, how did that come up? Why do you do it?
The only way to get better is to put the time in and do it and do the work, right? Instead of doing lots of research into something, you have to do the work and fuck around and find out. I love that saying. But also in that, there's a lot of things which I won't be able to see from me directly, just from me watching the videos. But what sending it to someone is, it just gives them a different perspective, right? And that's been massive for us.
Yeah.
Because Tom, I can already see the service delivery. My business partner handles the service. I handle the acquisition. Yeah. And I can already see the service, right? I can see the numbers. He can't see the sales. Yeah. So by him being able to watch over everything and make sure he's happy with the way that our company is being presented, it just means I can get really quick feedback.
What has the dynamic been like between you and your business partner?
Is where we're so similar but so different at the same time. And it's funny, the story of how I got him. So I was about 8 months in. I was probably at capacity. I think I had like 9 clients and needed someone to bring on. So I went on Upwork and I put a job post. And this guy, like young guy, obviously used ChatGPT because it said to name in brackets and then yours sincerely name in brackets. And I respond to this guy and I'm like, listen, man, like what are you doing? You're an idiot. And I don't know what it was, but his response was so like open and honest. He's like, listen, man, I was just trying to get a job. I don't know. It was so whatever he said, it was exactly what I would have said. Yeah. So I jumped on a call with this guy and instantly I was like, yeah, he's so similar. So similar. And when I say we're the same, it's because I'm very restless in terms of if I'm not working, like if things are slow, I'm like, mine just goes off. I have to be working. And I've kind of caught that bug recently. So we talk about that transition from being lazy and doing nothing to being disciplined. I'm so far right.
Yeah.
And he's the exact same. Now we're different in the sense that he's an incredibly logical thinker. So we have this dynamic with clients, which is brilliant. I'm like good cop and he's bad cop. So he's from Belgium, so he's got a bit of an accent. So if a client's not doing the right work, he doesn't mean to be like it, but he'll like tell them straight.
Yep.
And then I'll come in and be like, well, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. It's perfect dynamic. Yeah. And we work in tandem with each other, which is brilliant.
I like that. See, from an aspect of the restlessness, you're just taking ownership of it. You're just like, this is what you're accepting is like your current reality. Why is it that you are accepting it rather than wanting to change it?
In terms of working hard.
Yeah. Like just from an aspect of like,
okay.
Well, I guess you've just answered the question because you don't see it as restlessness.
No,
you see it as working hard.
Yeah. So for me, I know the goal that I've set for myself, and I know the purpose that I'm pursuing. Yeah. Right. So in my eyes, I don't really see any point in doing much else other than spending time pursuing that goal. Yeah. Like everything else is just kind of noise. And what I mean by that is like if I was to do nothing for like a week, obviously I still go out, I still go to the gym, etc. I still have time with friends. But in the grand scheme of things, if I've set a goal and I know what my purpose is in the short term, I don't feel like I need to do anything else. And I feel like if I was to sit there and sit and watch TikTok in the long term, or sit and watch YouTube for 20 hours, wouldn't give me anything. I get bored. I get so bored.
I think one of the things that's not often spoken about enough is the fact that at like our current age, it's the youngest we'll ever be, which is very obvious, and people are like, well, fucking of course, John.
Yeah.
But also, I think Hormozy said it best, like in his 20s he only wanted to be a billionaire. When he was a billionaire, he only wanted to be back in his 20s.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element of the truth in that when it comes to we are never going to have more energy than what we currently have in regards to age. And I think a lot of people will, I remember like we had an ad running, and a lot of our ads target because we're selling a community, a network, so a lot of our ads will target loneliness within entrepreneurship and not having other young entrepreneurs that are just like them. And there was a guy that posted this huge fucking essay, you will get them on your ads as well, I'd imagine, this huge essay about how in your 20s, why the fuck would you want to be like not going out and not fucking around and not having a good time. All you're going to have in life is memories and so on and so forth. And it was this huge fucking essay. And I think there's something to be said about the flip side of that in regards to the memories that you create actually within business and the constant focus and the purpose that actual business does bring.
Yeah. With the guy that commented that, to be honest with you, I think that if you wanna not run a business in your 20s because you think that you want to do something else, I think go and do it.
Yep.
I think that if you want to run a business and you enjoy that process, go and do it.
Yeah.
I think that it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. I think that you just need to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So in whatever goal or whatever you want to pursue, if you want to go through uni, drink all the time, blah, 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 that's fine. That's what you want to do. Enjoy it.
I think it's getting clarity on like what it actually is that you even want to do. Because I think what you said earlier on, which I thought was really powerful, was that the first thing you said was always wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think for a majority of these people, it's like they aren't even consciously aware of, like for example, comments like that. They're not consciously aware of why it is that they're doing what they're doing or what fuels it or what's even behind it. And life just passes by. And I know for me, like with the game and stuff, that was very much the same, where it was like very mindless, very almost like fucking, like what you're saying is absolutely bang on, mate. And I think the flip side of it is just that being consciously aware of the decisions that you are making, and if it is something that you want to do, I think that's something that the quick change in from going out every weekend, uni, that sort of stuff, to this really disciplined young Matthew that is fucking crushing it, is the clarity between moving towards what it is that you actually are doing and moving away, like you said, from the thing that you didn't want to be. I think the issue is the majority of people don't even don't have the answer for either of those, and they end up just fucking in this wave, which which is very up and down, man.
It's difficult, and I understand it's difficult because, I mean, I kind of fell into it, to be honest with you. And do you know what I think's really confusing for people? So many people talk about you need to do something you're passionate about, because if you're passionate, you never work a day in your life. And I remember seeing that when I was even when I was at school or uni, I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
People want to be pilots, people want to be artists, they want to go to France and, I don't know, make bread. But I didn't have that, and it kind of scared me, because I was like, well, if I haven't got my passion, then what am I doing? Right? And then I kind of just like followed the crowd, right? And even when I started business, I wasn't passionate about business when I started it.
Yeah.
But it was something that I wanted to do, and it leaned into my strengths. And I think advice that I would give for people who are maybe they want to give it a go is lean into what you're good at and lean into what you enjoy, and know that it's not going to be fun 24/7, and some days fucking suck. And especially in the beginning, you're going to want to quit constantly.
Yeah.
But if you continue doing it, and the pull that you have for the goal that you've set for yourself is strong enough, you will continue to do it. And I think after this year, I've realized that I am passionate about the process of building, but that wasn't instant. And that's a massive misconception I think people have with passion.
You definitely, there's elements like Gary Wilson spoke about, I think, in the podcast in regards to wanting to mentor / help people that are somewhat like yourself / see yourself in what you see yourself in them, and what it is that their attitude, what it is that they're achieving, and so on and so forth. I think there's also something to be said where alongside that, wanting to help someone that is just so damn passionate about things that you're also passionate about. And also, I think what serves you incredibly well is that a lot of people with your people skills and just your willingness to be open to feedback is that people are attracted to you from an aspect of helping you, which is a very like weird kind of, when people are like, oh, I don't have anyone to help me, or I don't have anyone like to guide me, or whatever it may be. There's like something to be said about the, I guess, like the likability / willingness to want to help yourself, that I don't even know if you're consciously aware of it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Because I think me and Lawrence have spoken about it a good few times with like a number of clients where you naturally just want to help them more. And I feel like you're one of those individuals where, because you engage so well and you respond so well to anything that is brought to the table, anything that's brought up, and your willingness to take it on board and actually implement it is something that I think is what has fast-tracked the last 12 months like massively, because even some of the stuff that you're saying, mate, there's some of the stuff that you said so far that hasn't even been said in this podcast before. Yeah. That would imply very heavily that it's not just regurgitated shit, it's fully like your own philosophy and values that you're developing and really knuckling down on. And I think it's fucking incredible to see for a start, but I also think that like it's making me realize how many people are in that just like navigating through life without actually knowing what they fucking like, what their values are, what they're going to stand for, what they're not going to fucking stand for, or they just care about shit that they shouldn't even fucking care about in the first place. And I think for yourself, because you're very clear on your values and clear on the skills that you can leverage, and also like the goal that you want to achieve, anything that like supports that, you're just like, load me with it.
Exactly.
Which is incredible, mate. One of the things as well that I think has been incredibly beneficial for you, which I want to touch on, is the friendship group that you have. I think that you were in a very unique position when you wanted to join Young and Lazy, because you actually had friends and people around you already that were this small little group of friends that were locked in on business. That seems like you were somewhat, quote me if I'm wrong, somewhat of a catalyst of inspiring them to take action / helping them believe that it's actually like possible. So I don't know where to take this question, but I guess talking about it to begin with, what the friendship group's like, how it served you, and also like how you even developed it. Yeah.
I think first of all, I'm really lucky to have a group of people who are also running businesses that are the same age and almost at the same level as me. And there's two components as well, because even my school friends are ridiculously supportive. Like, it's not normal at this age, like ridiculously supportive. And like, just that in itself is incredible. But in terms of business wise, and there's the saying that gets told all the time, it's so true, it's you're the mean sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
I have those 5 people who all run businesses. And to have that group of people who are constantly updating each other with the wins, keeping each other accountable, is incredibly powerful, because there's an element of competition that is so healthy in how we operate, because there's no jealousy involved, because we all want each other to succeed in the best way possible. But what it does inspire is so much competition. Like, that has pushed my company forward so much, just by having guys that I'm in such close contact with that are doing so similar. And I would be able to say with full confidence that the wins that I've got have been able to push them so quickly, which they wouldn't have had if we didn't have a good knit group of friends.
And how do you think you developed that kind of friendship / that environment?
I mean, it's more of a case of what I actually put my energy into, right? Because the way I have everything set up, my life revolves around the company at the moment. Because I want to get to a point where I don't need to worry about money. I mean, it's the majority of people, and I want to build a brilliant company. So my time is mostly spent there. So I need to include things in my life which are in supplement of that pursuit. And it's funny because my barber, Campbell Lister, great barber, by the way, did this. Shout out Campbell Lister. I actually told him yesterday I was going to shout him out. Anyway, his flatmate knew a guy that did something similar, and he put me in contact. And when I met this guy, we just hit it off. We were like, we're going to do work together at some point. And I think from that stage, I realized how powerful it was to have a group of business friends, because I never really had, I had people I was in contact with, but I didn't really have friends that were doing this. So I never really had someone to speak about it with, because I'd try and bring it up in the early stages with like my mates from school. I don't care. I don't blame them if it's really boring if you're not in it. But having a group of people that do care and are interested, and you can get value back and forth from, it just speeds you up 10 times quicker than normal. I
completely agree, mate. I guess from an aspect of like being willing to mingle with individuals that are doing the same thing as yourself, you're obviously seeing it as collaboration rather than competition. Do you think that's just your values, just you as an individual? Is that something that you just...
I think there's such abundance in the market in general. Such abundance. And I'll give these guys all the value. I have given them all the value that I have, all the source that I can possibly give in terms of outreach scripts, in terms of sales, into anything they possibly need. And I think people who are worried about like giving someone too much information are just ridiculous. Because again, as I said, there's so much abundance in terms of clients, in terms of money, in terms of everything, that you never need to be worried about someone, I don't know, eating up the market. It happens the percentage of that happening, or the chance of that happening, is so slim that you doesn't even need to be on your mind.
I guess from an aspect of when I read 48 Laws of Power, one of the laws in there was about like keeping your intentions concealed / not telling. A lot of it's just about like almost like putting up smoke and mirrors all the time. And I can see, I think from reading that book, I can see why so many people struggle to trust. But it's something that, it's weird. I think I was so concrete on my values that when I read the book, I knew that I was never going to adopt any of the stuff that I learned from it. But I was able to understand why people like don't want to tell people things / want to keep everything under wraps / think everyone's going to fuck them over. And it's interesting, man, but I think that mindset really does stunt your growth quite heavily, where it's weird, man, because I think you've got it too, where you trust someone. Like for me, it'll take me a lot to fully trust someone, but I'll trust someone at a standard level pretty quickly based off just initial conversation. I'll be able to tell from a gut instinct whether or not someone has pure intentions or not. And I think a lot of people don't actually have that / know how to navigate it, and because they don't know how to navigate it, they end up just worrying about the shit that you're like almost like talking about just now, that I think really does stunt your growth quite heavily.
100%.
Is that something that you've noticed when you've spoke to other people within the gym space?
Yeah. I mean, I completely understand why they think that way.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got one client, it took you 3 months to get that client and it was very, very difficult. Telling people how you got that one client, like it's very, like I understand where their mind is with that. But when you adopt like an abundance mindset, and maybe you'll only get there by understanding it and actually getting there. And maybe that's how it was trained into me. And maybe at the start I was like a whole standoffish. Yeah, I probably was. Adopting the abundance mindset, you realize how accessible and easy everything is in terms of the actual structure and the process. And by giving value, it doesn't affect how you operate. It's not going to affect how much money you make, and it's not going to affect how quickly you can grow by giving someone else help. Because you open a two-way channel if you give someone else help, because they will naturally, as a human being, feel obligated to help you back. And whether that's in a short period of time or a long period of time, it doesn't matter. But for me, like, the reason I give a lot of value and help is because I remember what it was like being at that stage, and it was fucking awful. It's horrible. And if I can give it a little bit to help, which some people did for me, then I want to be able to do that.
100%, bro. I couldn't agree more. I guess from an aspect of one of the things that we've not touched on, well, we've kind of briefly touched on, to be fair, is the actual business model that you're running. You're obviously targeting home improvements. You're doing lead generation for them. Like what is the basis of the business model? How did you come up with it? What's the plan moving forward with it?
So when I left uni, the big thing at the time was SMMA, social media marketing agencies. I knew I wanted to get into it because it was an actual business. So it's not like your e-com or your closer or whatever. I could take something that was nothing and build it into a company. So in terms of starting out, the first thing that you need to do is pick a niche and pick an offer. So I knew I wanted to do Facebook and Instagram ads just because that's what everyone else was doing, and it was proven. In terms of niche, I typed up on Google social media marketing agency niches. I went on Spin the Wheel. I copy and pasted all of them. I pasted them in, spun the wheel, landed on home improvement. And it's ridiculous.
Sounds like you're taking the piss on this, but you're feeling
swear to God. Swear to God. And the reason I did that is all the niches that I copy and pasted were proven, right? So I knew I didn't care what industry I was in. All I wanted to do is build a business and make enough money to not have to go back. Right. And if I can choose a niche which is proven and it already works, all I need to be able to do is learn the steps to get there. And that's how I chose that. In terms of how we're set up, we run Facebook, Instagram ads for home improvement companies. We work on a complete commission model because, again, as I said before, what's missing in our market is trust because there's so much bullshit. So I sat down and I was thinking, right, well, we need to think of a way to build as much trust as possible in the shortest amount of time. So what better way to put full confidence in our system, on our processes, than to work for free until they close a job, right? And that commission model has worked incredibly. Like, the feedback we're getting from that is brilliant. The only negative about it is that if we work for free, sometimes we don't get paid.
Which I guess, like, from a results aspect, we have this conversation very often, which is like, do you want to be known for being a company that is paid for your time, or do you want to be known as a company that is paid to get results? And the reality is, if you don't get results, and whether an element of that is it with your control or not, there's a shit ton to be learned, to learn from that, which I think is incredibly powerful, mate. How do you stand out in a saturated market besides the commission model?
Authenticity, number one. Authenticity, number one. Number one. I couldn't go on about that enough. And genuinely, the market is missing directness and honesty. I can't, like, I know I've said this a few times, but I genuinely can't explain how many times I've been on calls with these guys and they've gone, like, you just seem like you're legit. Like, you just seem like you're not just looking for my money. And being able to have that transition switch is massive. In terms of standing out, I think that's the best advice I can give, to be honest. It's not easy. But as long as you can be creative in what you do and try and find edges which other people aren't doing, you'll be able to stand out by just the way you operate if you can be authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And I think as well, you've touched on something important, which is that a lot of people want it to be easy in the beginning to get to a specific goal so that they can fuck off and do something else or whatever. But like, not wanting it to be easy or it not being easy in general is such a fucking good thing, man, because when you actually, it was a conversation we had in Thundercats, I think it was when you just signed for a client, and it was like, to provide something that can't be replicated in the snap of a finger is going to be fucking hard, man. And to be results driven and to provide an incredible fucking service and to go above and beyond and eat shit for so fucking long, it is fucking hard, man. And it's like, but like, what's the goal? Are you just going to be another pawn in that saturated market, or are you going to be a king or a queen? Or are you going to fucking absolutely smash it? Which I think the mindset you've got towards it. I asked that question for a reason, by the way. I had a young guy who messaged me. I met him in Sapporo. He was working as like a waiter at the time.
Okay.
It was funny. We had the higher level group day where we went there afterwards, just a few months back. And it was we'd said to the guys already, we are covering dinner. This is part of our day, taking you all out, thanking you for being clients. And the bill was like 400 quid, right? And I was paying for it, and he was like, fucking hell, man, these lads are slapping this bill on you. And I was like, nah, they're all my clients. This is our thank you. He's all like, what is it you do? I told him what to do. And he messages me every couple of weeks just with ideas and stuff that he wants to do and businesses he wants to start and stuff like that. And one of the things he said to me was, everything is so saturated. I don't want to do anything that's saturated. And I thought, brother, that is like the biggest leg up that you've got in a saturated market, because it means that it's so easy for you to fucking stand out.
Yeah.
How did you develop that mindset?
I mean, the first thing, me and Tom are in an incredibly privileged position in terms of our situation, right? And that means that we can put more time into things and do it with less stress than the majority of other people in the market, right? And just to give context to this, I've got no wife, no kids, no mortgage. My biggest monthly expense is probably a Tesco meal deal. And that is about it. So we have so much time to dedicate into providing the best service. Now, when I say before the market is missing authenticity, what I mean by that is that's the acquisition side of things, right? In terms of service delivery, I don't think people who approach it that way, which is the majority, are putting much time into developing their service delivery to a point where it's better than that surface level standard, right? So, okay. So now we know that we'd be authentic on this side, and this side, we just need to put more time in than everyone else, and we'll eventually have the best service. So because of our situation, it also means that we can go probably 2x, 3x as fast as a lot of other people. Because we are only working on this, we can work on it all day, and because we work on a commission, if we don't get paid for our time, it doesn't matter. Because I don't need to feed kids, and I don't have a mortgage to pay. So that's the approach that we've taken with our company, and the reason we set a goal of being number one is because what it means is that the decisions that we make in our company are different, right? So the thing with me, if I set a goal of making 10,000 per month, right, the time horizon for that would be so long. Be so long. I'd stretch it out. But if I set a goal of being the number one home improvement marketing agency in the UK, we'll hit 10K here, but we've still got loads more to do. So we'll move twice as fast. And I said this to one of my friends the other day. I wish when I took the gap year, I had 3 months, because I strung this thing out for 12 months and I could have got there in 3 months if I had a shorter time horizon. But that's why we've set such a big goal, because everything now is moving towards that goal, and we're moving quicker than we possibly thought we could move. Which is crazy.
It is just fucking mental, mate. I think from an aspect of probably reflecting on that, like what have been some of the biggest, we'll start with failures / lessons in the first 12 months. Failures, what's really difficult in the beginning is you put so much time into something that gives nothing back. And that was about 8 months. So I worked for free when I'd left uni, I had 6 months where I got no clients and I didn't have a niche or anything. So I think I sent well over 8,000 messages, probably got 4 sales calls, and obviously flunked them because I didn't know what I was doing. And my granddad asked me the other day, he's like, how the fuck did you, like, why'd you continue?
And to be honest with you, I have no idea. But I think in the moment it was the drive to get there.
Yeah.
And that's what pushed me to continue moving forward and just keep playing the game. But you have to accept in the beginning that you're going to put a lot of work and get very little back, but just know that when it rains, it genuinely pours.
It's big.
And I never understood that.
Yeah.
Like, people would say that and I go, shut up. The last 4 months have shown us the time that we've invested, the energy that we've put in over the past few months has come into fruition.
Yeah.
And now when we put work in, we see returns instantly.
Yeah. And I think like that initial time frame as well of like your grand was saying, like, why did you stick out? You're probably mighty aware that like you're going to have to do that for, it didn't matter what you were actually doing, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have that eating shit period of time. Is there any like specific failures, things that happened that when you felt like it was raining, it was pouring, and you're like, what the fuck am I actually doing?
Yeah, I mean, 6 months in and having nothing.
Yeah.
That's a play, and it's the conversations that you have with people. And I'd have to go, yeah, I've done really well. Really, really well. Smashing it so far. And there'd be nothing there. And it's not even that I wasn't putting time in either. That's the thing that was killing me. It was, I'm putting so much time into this thing and I'm getting nothing back. Like, what is going on? This isn't for me. I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, just really unsure of myself because I have nothing to compare it to. But the only thing that kept me going in that time frame was the thought that it does work. Yep. So if it's not working, it's me. I'm doing something wrong. And then it's trying to figure that out. But it's the uncertainty of the time invested not giving anything back. Yeah. I think that's, that was rough.
And when you think about like society where like we're paid by the hour, like to be putting in hours and hours and getting fuck all, it's like, what the actual fuck is going on? Yeah. The willingness to work for free, I feel like you've kind of subtly answered it already, but I feel like, I think I was speaking to, it might have been Jude Fredman about this, like, there is somewhat, probably based off like social media and what you see all like everywhere, there is almost like somewhat of like a small level of entitlement for younger individuals, which I'll still come into that bracket obviously, but it's like early 20s or like late fucking like 18, 19, where it's like, I should be making 10k per month and I should be making it fucking yesterday. Yeah. And as a result of that, I'm not going to fucking work for free. Yeah. When in fact, like that willing, like I think a couple of people mentioned me about it to be fair, because Yanni Doino spoke about it in his podcast, where it's like working for free is genuinely so fucking underrated, and it's something that provides you with so much value because you're willing to do something that not many other people are willing to actually do, and you're doing it calculated too. So it's like, I'm working for fucking free. Almost like that, like you said, something pulling you forward or something pushing behind you, where it's like that thing pushing behind you is like you can't work for free for the rest of your fucking life. You need to fucking figure this out. I guess like just shining light on that, bro, having that mentality to be willing to do it, once again, I think is what separates you from quite a lot of individuals. Successes?
I mean, done it. In terms of short-term goal. Yeah. So now we're at a place in the company where we have a voice in the market. Yeah. Companies listen to us. Companies believe in what we're saying. I'm not on calls with companies now and, pardon me, saying, please work with me. Do you know what I mean? That's figuratively what I'm saying. Yeah. It's more of a case of them saying, that sounds really good. Can you explain a bit more? And if I can tell people that I don't want to work with you anymore, or I don't think we're a good fit, that's a sign that we're doing something right. Yeah. Because if I can't even imagine turning people away at the start of the year. Yeah. I want everyone, all of you come in. But now we're at a place where we genuinely have authority in the market. Clients are enjoying our service and getting some pretty darn good results. Yeah. So we're seeing it across the board. And to be honest with you, there's an element of like, holy shit, we're actually making something that has serious utility in the market. Yeah. And it's almost like doesn't feel real in a way because I'm so used to working, getting nothing back. Yeah. That now when I work and I get quite a lot back, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
How do you plan on leveraging that authority over the next like couple of years?
We need to continue doing what we're doing and keep the integrity of the company that we have right now. Yeah. So I don't want to be in a position where we try and scale so quickly just to make a load of money in a short space of time and everything crumble. Yeah. I want to build something that is, I want to make Social Hotspot the number one agency in the UK, and I also want to make it the most recognized and well-respected company because of the service we provide. And the only way to get the company to that point is to have a brilliant service and keep what we're doing as integral as possible.
I love that, mate. I fucking love that. So many ways that we can fucking take this, bro. How are we actually looking like time-wise? An hour and 5 minutes.
No.
About an hour and 5. One of the things I think that we've not spoken about enough is probably your sales, like skills / maybe like tips that we could pick out, things that have been catalysts for you that you believe have been, like served incredibly well.
Don't make statements, ask questions.
Nice.
So what a lot of salespeople do, and what I did at the very start, is we have this, we do this, we do this, we do this. This is why it's good, this is why it's better, this is why you shouldn't do this and you should do this. Yeah. It's pointless. Do you know why? Because they don't even know if they want the service yet. Yeah. You don't even know if they have the problem that you are looking to fix. So what I've learned, and something which serves me incredibly well, is I have a really weird approach to how I assign people, but it's proven and it works. Yeah. So I'll run you through. So first of all, I need to know if they have the problem that I'm looking to solve. So this is like the first filter, right? We provide companies with more work. Do you need more work? Because if they don't need more work, why would I waste my time selling to them? It's pointless. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of their time. Yep. And it's funny because the way that I outreach, so we send 900 emails a day. My email is one line. Yeah. Hi, name. Do you have capacity for more work at the moment? Do you mind if I send more info? That's it. Yeah. And the response I get from that are yep. Okay, perfect. So now I have a set of people that have the problem that we are looking to fix. Then what I want to do, which is what Russell Brunson does, the CEO of ClickFunnels, he doesn't actually, if you watch the way he sells, he doesn't sell people on ClickFunnels, he sells people on the method. Yeah. And what I need to do, what I've started to do, or what I've been doing, is first figure out if they have the problem, then sell them on the method. So before I've even gone into anything about our company, I want to make sure that they see paid advertising as the solution to the issue that they've just told me to have. Because if they don't see that as the solution, then again, wasting my time. Need to filter that out. And then finally, I know that they have the problem. I know that they see paid ads as the solution. Here's the solution. Is this something you're interested in? But the focus is always on them, always their problem, before I go into anything else. And it's served us ridiculously well.
I can imagine it, because I think it's something that Alex Becker spoke about in his Iron program in regards to if you walked into a doctor's office and before you even spoke, they were like, I'm going to give you Adderall. And you're like, what? I've got a sore ankle, mate. Why the fuck would I need Adderall? And they're like, nah, I've already filled the prescription. Just go, like, hand it in. You'll get it. You'd be like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Get me a fucking different doctor. And people actually sell that way, which is fucking bonkers. And I think that's I think we spoke about it as well, like from a cold outreach perspective, like part of the 1.5k video messages I sent and how that form of cold outreach actually compounded from a positive aspect is that I wasn't assuming they wanted my service, nor was I slapping them like a pitch slap, like work with me, this is what I do. It was a form of giving in some way, shape or form, / in your perspective, or your example, is that you're asking a question that opens the door to them potentially wanting what it is that you provide. Yeah. Which I think what people don't realise is the negative downside of an abundance of cold outreach that is, hey, my name's Matthew, I do lead gen for home improvements, this is the results we've got, are you interested? Yeah. Because people just instantly think like, you're that guy that just spams cold outreach to fucking everyone with no intention of building the thing that's important.
I understand why people do it though. Yeah. I genuinely understand, because when you're trying it and it's not working out, you overcomplicate everything. Yeah. And by overcomplicating it, you probably make your message massive. Whatever method you're doing, if it's cold calling, whatever, it's the same thing. You overcomplicate it and it gets really like confusing in your head. But what you need to do is keep it incredibly simple. So you are trying to sell to people who have the issue. You have the solution, or this is the solution, and you're the vehicle to get them to that solution. Yep. And it genuinely needs to be that simple. I mean, I speak with a lot of agency owners who are like just starting out. They show me their scripts or emails. They're about 12 paragraphs long. Yep. And I understand why, because they're trying to get everything in there. Yep. But the simpler, the better, the more direct, the more straightforward is what people are looking for. And you'll see that in the marketplace. People who are authentic and straight to the point do better. It's as simple as that. And it goes into even influencers' personal brand. People respect people who are just themselves.
Yeah. And I think if you speak directly, so like I think where a lot of people, I think in the beginning why they do that whole big 12 paragraph thing, is because they don't actually know what part of that email is the part that works. So it's like, let me fire all that in. Yeah. Let me just hope a part of it lands. And if a part of it lands, fucking sweet. Whereas, I think we spoke about it at the YNL Mastermind, like, you can speak directly to your client's heart of hearts, in terms of Becker's saying, in a way that is exactly what they want. And it does pique interest. It does pique curiosity. They do want to engage with you. Like, that is the biggest leg up, as opposed to firing this huge fucking email where they see it and they go, oh, fucking hell, I'm not reading that. Like, I'm going to read something from someone else that I trust, or someone that I actually know that isn't just a fucking cold outbound message. It's the same shit. I think it's super valuable, mate, the stuff that you're touching on. Anything else from like a sales perspective or outreach perspective that you're like, people need to know this?
Other than asking questions and making statements, I genuinely think that is the most pivotal thing that you can possibly do as a salesperson. And failing to do that, you're not going to make any sales. The focus needs to be on the client.
Love it, mate. Love it. I guess from an aspect of where you're heading, obviously the goal's super clear. You've kind of touched on some of the parts of how you plan on getting there. One of the things I've took from what you said is that making the service fucking incredible is very much one of those that's at the forefront. How do you plan on making it incredible?
The time that we're putting in right now needs to be continuously put in and then multiplied. So how do we multiply it? We need a team. Now, with the goal being so high, we need a team of absolute monsters, which are not going to be cheap. But the great thing about what me and Tom are doing is I still haven't taken a penny out of the business, which is crazy. I haven't taken a single penny out of the business. I actually signed another client who's not in our industry to pay for my own expenses on a monthly basis because I'm not taking anything out. So what it means is that everything that we make right now can be reinvested, which means we can afford, because I'm not really bothered about profit right now until we hit like 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. So we need to get to where we want to be, we need a team of absolute monsters to multiply the time invested into service, acquisition, everything.
How do you plan on doing that?
A lot of interviews, a lot of fucking around and finding out. We're probably gonna have a few footfalls in terms of hiring the wrong people, because again, this is a new thing for us. But the quicker we can do it, and the with the most intention possible, and only doing the things that need to be done, that's how we're gonna get there.
See this fuck around and find out thing?
I love it.
How does it? See, when you say it, what does it connect? Like what does it positively reinforce for you?
It's the perfect way to explain what needs to be done, right? So, for example, perfect example, when I first started, I was so worried about service delivery that I spent months working on it. Months, right? And then I remember speaking to this guy who's a bit ahead of me, and he asked, like, why are you focused on service delivery? I'm like, well, I'm going to need to do it. He's like, for who? Because you haven't got any clients. So go sign a client, and I guarantee you will learn service delivery in a few days, because you have to do it, right? So what I mean when I say that is, stop doing the things that don't need to be done right now. I was working on my website logo slogan for weeks. What am I doing? I'm not even making any money. Haven't even got any clients. So you need to do what needs to be done, and the only way to do that is to do it.
Yes.
Because it's not going to be the same from just looking at it or researching or doing this. I picked my niche the first day I started. I spun a wheel, boom. That might not be the best way to do it, but in terms of in terms of that thinking, just get it done. Get the things that need to be done with speed.
Not wasting any time.
Yeah.
What I've circled here is just wanted action.
Yeah.
You wanted to take action. I think that's something that a lot of people, they wanted to be so perfect in the beginning. Whereas, like, I think one of the things that actually gives you a huge leg up is, like, with the commission model, the level of expectation that the client has is that you only get paid if they get paid.
Yeah.
Which I think from an aspect of charging thousands for a retainer for them not to get paid leaves a pretty sour taste in their mouth. Whereas the ability to just take action and just learn, there's almost like less weight on it from an aspect of like the client being really fucking pissed with you.
Yeah.
Because if someone's pissed with you, right, and they're not paying you anything, it's like, what the fuck do you expect, mate? Like, whereas they don't pay you anything, you get paid only commission, and you start bringing in for yourself like a few thousand per client in actual commission, and it's like, this shit is fucking is working. They're getting what they're looking for, and at that point, going to them with an offer with a retainer sounds much more reasonable, mate.
Exactly, because you build the trust, which is the most important thing. That's what we're trying to conquer. You build the trust, long-term working relationship, and that's it. Game over. I
love it, mate. There's one thing I wanted to touch on, which was, we had a good conversation about it, which was like having time for the cabin in the woods chats.
Oh, yes.
Which is one of your almost like
it's a staple now.
It is a staple. Do you want to touch a bit on it?
Yeah. So we were at a point in our company, I forget what stage we were at, but there was a couple fires going on, and our communication was fine. Me and Tom were communicating via WhatsApp, right? We were just like going back and forth. And I remember coming to you and thinking like, shit, we've got like all these issues. We don't really know the solution. We're kind of guessing at the moment. And you were like, you need to do a cabin in the woods. And I was like, what the fuck is a cabin in the woods? And essentially what it is let's say that the problem is we're not signing enough clients, right? And we don't really know the problem. We've been guessing. It's been very like surface level conversations, haven't got it fixed. Me and Tom would jump on a call once a week, which is called a cabin in the woods call. We'd sit on that call and we would not leave until that problem is fixed. And what that does is we can have an incredibly in-depth and very specific conversation about the issue in the company, and we will not leave that call until that problem is fixed. Those calls are ridiculously good. So good. Like, ridiculously good. Yeah. And we do that once a week now. And we also have morning daily plan of attack calls where we run through, shoot the shit. It's massive.
You're fucking, the names for them are unreal.
Daily plan of attack. We're at war, man. That's how we see it.
It's a banger. I think, the cabin in the woods was something I got from Lawrence, but I also reflected on, like, from a problem solving perspective, I realised actually that's that skill gap that we spoke about earlier on. See individuals that run into problems and then they just sit on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't fucking solve this. But they've not really tried to solve it. Nor have they brought in anyone else to help with it. They just kind of sit on it and they want it done like that. Like, the gap between that is having a mindset of, I'm going to spend one fucking meeting out of the week on solving whatever problems come up, and actually saying it and having the confidence that no matter what problem comes up, we're going to fucking solve it on that call. And doing that with someone else as well. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the masculine camaraderie of like copping on with someone to fucking solve something.
Shit.
It's fucking incredible, man. It's such a good feeling, mate. Is there anything else that you feel like has been a huge catalyst of growth that's helped propel you guys forward?
Speed, intent, network. I think network's massive, and I think it's overlooked. I think network can be in any fashion as well. Like, just find someone that's either ahead of you or at the same level or behind you. Having no one will be a net negative, and having even just one person, it's a massive help. It's accountability. It's being able to have conversations about what you're doing, collaborate and come up with ideas. Having a big network is even better. It means your chance of failure slims so far down. Yeah. I feel like even if I went to zero today, I'd be able to bring myself back up 100%. Very, very quickly.
100%. Honestly, brother, we're like an hour and 15, 20 minutes in.
Smashed it.
Probably time to start wrapping up, mate, but I think part 2 very soon. I'd say like June, July time, see over the next like 6 months where you guys take it to, because it's going to be pretty fucking mental. And I think
Yeah.
documenting the journey this way would be pretty nuts as well,
Be
bro.
cool.
So where can people find you? Where do you upload? Do you upload content regularly?
Nah, content is coming soon. In my eyes, I need to be the guy before I'm the guy, which I know might be a flawed thought, but that's me. But no, just my name on Instagram. That's it. Just my name on Instagram, Matthew Deighan.
Love it, mate. Love it. Yeah, thank you as always, brother, to Paul also for hosting us, but thank you for coming on, mate, and providing this massive page of notes and diagrams and value that I think a lot of people the goal of this episode in general was to bring on yourself, who is very much in the fucking trenches right now, and to talk through exactly where you're at with being in those trenches, how you're feeling about it, and to provide almost like an element of like certainty to other individuals that are also in the trenches, but it's like, it's meant to feel this way. It's meant to feel fucking shit. Be okay with the fact that it feels shit. And as a result of that, feeling like there's someone else. I know that good old saying that is maybe used in a different context, misery loves company. Yeah. But almost like using it as reassurance that, like, you know what, it is meant to feel this way. It's going to feel fucking shit. The fact that it feels shit is great because majority of other people would quit. Yeah. And I'm going to push on and I'm going to make it happen, mate. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me on.
And if you're on YouTube Trips, make sure you subscribe. We've got episodes going up every 2 weeks. The foot is very much on the accelerator at the moment when it comes to the podcast, bringing on loads of different guests in all different realms of business. And if you're on Spotify Trips, be sure to rate the podcast. I think it is on Spotify.
5 stars.
5 stars. There we go. 5 stars. And yeah, Trips, look out for the next episode in the next 2 weeks.